Okay, good morning and afternoon or good evening, everyone who come up with um, this presentation. So today I'm going to present about my little thoughts about certain things called as the in regards with the legal analysis of smart contract in Islamic uh, financial industry. Yeah, so this I'm going to discuss first from introduction, result and discussion, and then the closure. And now begin with the introduction. So this idea comes up from um, the great phenomenon on how the technology today developed very rapid and like it goes beyond the human activities themselves. So we can see on how the total population um like increasing and the use of mobile phone were also increasing, internet users and so on. So from these kinds of development of these societies within the digital growth, we can see that one of the technological advancements is including blockchain technology. We can see that the market outlook from the Finance Online review, which is focusing on the business market, they see that blockchain market has been increased, and we can see that the most used case of this blockchain is within the banking industry, and there's also in regards with the manufacturing, discrete manufacturing, some kinds of professional services and retail. But and we can see that the development in each region are varied, which is still led by USA and then followed by Western Europe. Others countries like Indonesia probably include in this others countries, and there's our People's Republic of China, Japan, and Middle East and Africa. From this big use case of blockchain, we can see that overall adoption of blockchain technologies are varied. And from this various blockchain adoption, we can see one of the most essential and probably well-known adoption is in regards with the smart contract. So this goes also um, the development of this blockchain technology, especially of course in regards with the smart contract, is in line with in regards in the context in Indonesia also the development of Islamic finance, because the government also trying to um, increase the Sharia um, environment, especially Sharia financial industry. So both technology and Sharia finance are developing in in line. So the study trying to examine the potential use and validity of blockchain smart contract based on the perspective of Indonesian law and as well as Islamic law, and explore potential opportunities and challenges using smart contract. So this is a normative juridical research which conducted by the literature study, and there are the data used are secondary data, primary, secondary. Well, mostly people use tertiary, but it is very it quite less used in this research, and this is a qualitative analysis, and we're going to present in the research result would be descriptive presentation. So if you see the Indonesian legal basis concerning smart contract is very limited, But the most important thing we need to clarify is smart contract is not the same with cryptocurrency. It is not the same with crypto transaction and so on, but it is related, of course. And smart contract is not blockchain. Smart contract is not electronic contract in commons. So smart contract is basically some sort of protocols um, trying to executing what has been inputted in the protocols, which mostly used to automate the execution of contract. So the system of these protocols of the smart contracts were embedded in the blockchain technology, and the development were being increased once the blockchain of Ethereum technology being introduced. But then the regulation in Indonesia mostly limited to the blockchain itself, not specifically in regards with smart contracts. So if you see on the Bank Indonesia regulation concerning financial technology, it says that one of the, for instance, the payment method can use the blockchain technology, and then in regards with the FSA regulation, Financial Services Authority regulation, concerning securities crowdfunding and its explanation mentioning blockchain technology could be part of the technology being used by the platform of securities crowdfunding. And the government of Indonesia also classify the development of blockchain technology in the, well, KBLI is the abbreviation of Klasifikasi Baku Lapangan Usaha Indonesia, which is a classification of Indonesian business activity, and it has its own number, which is 62014. But then, if we're talking about specific about the smart contract, we still should come back to the basic core of contract regulation, which is Indonesian private code. And if it's in terms of Sharia contract, so we go to Islamic economic law compilation. And then, so yeah, this is the main basic regulation. But then, if we're talking about in general the smart contract within the Islamic finance, we can see this um, result of research from Alam Gupta and Zamani, which talking about the process of smart contract. That contract is actually written as a code, as I said before, a protocols, which is written by a code and mostly in a programming language. And then it is input into the blockchain, and then the contract were being made, which is part of the public blockchain. And if it's inputted into the blockchain, then all the blockchain users in the chain would validate the contract. And then the parties involved in the contract will use the public key as ID to stay anonymous. So it's actually the party has its own key, and the key would be in the combination of numbers and letters that we cannot define. We cannot define who hold the key, who actually hold the key in person. So it remains anonymous. And then there's an if there has been a validation from all the um, networks of the blockchain, and then the parties involved already use the public key, then the contract would be self-executed. So that's the most important issue of smart contract, which is the automation and automation of execution. And if there has been a automation or execution, then there would be um, a transparency to all blockchain users. It would be spread into all the chain that saying there has been a transaction between the ID A to ID B, which is as I said, the ID was the combination of letters and numbers. So here is the basic basic execution and technicalities of smart contract, and it supports the Islamic finance in regards with its transparency, because like everyone in the on the network of the blockchain can validate and can see and can restore and save the transaction. One of the interesting issue of the implementation of smart contract within Islamic finance is the smart sukuk, which is introduced by Blossoms Finance in around 2018, 2019, which is based its operation under the cooperation with one of the cooperation in Indonesia. Um, as you can see on the website, it says that it the Blossom Finance trying to promote the use of smart contract to to increase the investment with Sukuk. And we can see that first, the client who makes lease payments and purchase payments on new which is, for example, this is just one of the example of the Sukuk in the Blossoms Finance, which involving Ethereum again. This one is the symbol of Ethereum. And this Blossom Finance also said in its website that they offer halal ethical investment into micro business that make a positive social impact. So it indeed, there have been a practical implementation of smart contract in terms of sukuk. But then the issues in Indonesia remains in regards to its technicalities that still use the cryptocurrency. So again, if we're talking about smart contract within blockchain, well, we cannot separate the smart contract from cryptocurrency, although smart contract is not cryptocurrency itself. So if you're going to have a transaction in blockchain with the smart contract, so you need to have the account and you need to have the um, cryptocurrency, or in context of Indonesia, crypto assets. So you need to have that to make your transaction to be executed, because there will be like a gas price being charged if a transaction already done, already executed, and the gas price would be taken from the cryptocurrency themselves. So we cannot separate this from cryptocurrency. But then the issues in Indonesia in regard to cryptocurrency are still limited to in regards whether or not cryptocurrency can be replaced as the currency in Indonesia. But again, of course, if we see on the law of Indonesia, we cannot take it as a digital, or we cannot take it as a currency, because possible the only legal currency is Indonesian rupiah. But then it comes up to the idea that we cannot leave behind the cryptocurrency or crypto asset in the smart contract transaction. So how would Islamic, for example, Majelis Ulama Indonesia, see this cryptocurrency on this position that it helps the transaction of smart contract? So there's no single regulation or a single fatwa that especially trying to talk about that issue. It only says on the third issues of the fatwa that cryptocurrency as a commodity or asset, who can fulfill the requirement of SILA and has underlying and has the benefit, which has the clear legal basis. So it might be the cryptocurrency that is being regarded. Another issue might be gas price, that mostly, like the Blossom Finance also ever said in its website, I guess, if I'm not mistaken, it says that One of the problem issues of the smart suku is gas price because somehow it requires a very high gas price in the cryptocurrency. And not to mention the developers programming, because smart contract were being developed by the programmer. It contains some codes that not all people understand, even though the codes were the codes bind the parties involved into the contract. Not to mention the government's interference on this um, kind of transaction that uh, if it's indeed it's a private contractual relation, but then if it's involving the legal protection to the parties, I think government's interference also required in this case. So the conclusion is that smart contracts are possibly to be applicable along the Sharia principles, especially regarding its transparency and automation prospect. But it is necessary as well to conduct an in-depth analysis on some issues such as the usage of crypto assets, like I said before, to support the execution of smart contract where the crypto assets were still being seen as a haram um, things, especially if it's regarded as the currency. So that's all my presentation. Thank you very much. And should you have any inquiries, I hope that I can answer that questions. But we do all have the um, we do all have the like the same issue to still learning about this new technology. Thank you very much, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.